Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Time for another subscriber's choice video where you guys told me what you think are the best date night fragrances ever. I asked you guys on the community tab of the YouTube channel, what do you think is the #1 date night fragrance ever? The fragrance that you would wear if you're trying to get the best reaction possible. And I have your answers. Your answers. Your answers. So I've got 10 of them here, 10 of the absolute best fragrance choices for a date if you're trying to smell absolutely irresistible, and a lot of you agreed with these choices. These ones came up over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So this is a strong top 10, and a lot of these scents, when you see them, you're gonna be like, that makes sense, yeah. So I'll have all these linked down there in the description. Feel free to check them out down below. And here are some codes that you can check out to the side. Down below and to the side. New code for FragFlex is GS11, 11% off the entire website. Of course, triple traders for some clone fragrances, Gents, 10% off, and all those other goodies. All right, let's do it. Now this first one came up the most often. So if you're gonna pick a winner, you know, the most frequently commented fragrance, the most frequently upvoted fragrance, it would be this one, and pretty substantially actually. So this comes from Real Dreamer, spelled R-E-A-1. He speaks Leet. And he just says very simply, La Nuit L'Homme, YSL. You forgot the day. La Nuit L'Homme. So La Nuit L'Homme came up, like I said, a bunch of times, a whole bunch of times, a bunch of people commenting that one. One thing I found interesting is just about every time somebody brought up La Nuit L'Homme, they didn't even say why. They would just put La Nuit L'Homme. That's the entirety of the comment. So you're scrolling down through all the comments people left and it's like La Nuit L'Homme, La Nuit L'Homme, La Nuit L'Homme. That was weird. So La Nuit L'Homme, of course, what can be said about it? You know, one of the biggest hype beast date night fragrances ever, and for good reason. The cardamom in here smells absolutely fantastic. It grabs attention, it's a compliment puller, it's sexy, it's alluring, it's inviting. It's not too heavy on the performance, which I think is actually a good thing for a date night fragrance most of the time. I mean, sometimes depending on where you're going, what you're doing, maybe you do want a fragrance that's a little bit heavier, but by and large, date night fragrances seem to work better when they're not ultra strong, because you want to catch little whiffs of the fragrance. You don't want to be overpowered with it. You don't want to be smashed in the face with it, right? If you're going out for a nice dinner, something like that, and you've got a fragrance on that's overwhelming, that's not going to be good. She wants to be, you know, tasting the food, not tasting your fragrance. Said that weird. Your fragrance. Just keep on amplifying it each time. Oh my God, I'm turning into Jeremy Fragrance. Fragrance power. Okay. Okay. Almost passed out. Jeremy Fragrance, the La Nuit L'Homme, that's what it is. So yeah, La Nuit L'Homme, this stuff is perfect for a date night. The performance is right where it needs to be. Like I said, huge compliment puller, very sexy, and actually is not as big of a seller as you might expect. It's not that it's unknown or anything like that. I'm not saying that. It's just, it's not one of those fragrances that literally everybody has. So nowadays, it's got a little more of a uniqueness to it than maybe it did, you know, 5 or 10 years ago. Demog 2044 says, gotta go with the classic warm, spicy, sweet amber goodness that the laddies love. The ladies love. The one Dolce & Gabbana Eau de Parfum. I love like just the little typo that the laddies love. Dolce & Gabbana, the laddies love it. Wait, no, I'm surrounded by laddies. So Dolce & Gabbana, the one Eau de Parfum, this for me is kind of linked with La Nuit L'Homme. So if you were to ask me real quick, what are the 2 best designer fragrances for date nights? Just rapid fire, you have to like immediately say it. I would say these 2. That's what would pop out of my mouth first. For my own personal taste, I actually like the one Eau de Parfum a little bit more than La Nuit L'Homme. Again, this one super solid, but the one Eau de Parfum has always been something that just really works for me. And as he says, classic, warm, spicy, sweet, amber goodness. That's what it is really. Nice and very appealing, has a tobacco note in there that's very well done also. Yeah, it smells awesome. And like La Nuit L'Homme, not too loud. in terms of performance, so it makes it perfect for a date night. Rud Bud 123 says, in my opinion, with all the date night scents to choose from, I think Tom Ford's Noir Extreme does it the best when it comes to date night, especially with that warm feel and edible accord from the coffee note makes this so unique. So Noir Extreme came up a bunch, so did Noir Extreme Parfum. So both Noir Extreme fragrances got a lot of love. And this is one that I have always gotten very good reactions from. Women seem to really love this scent. It's classy, it's high-end, it's sexy, it does smell unique, especially when you're comparing it to your typical designer fragrance out there that somebody might wear on a date. It's not quite as common of a scent profile because it has that, that way the spiciness comes across. That's not just hitting you with vanilla, vanilla, vanilla. Not that vanilla is a spice, but I'm saying a lot of spicy fragrances, they have an overload of vanilla. So absolutely lovely scent. Once again, one that I am fully on board with. This stuff rules. Do be aware though, it's gonna be more expensive than your typical designer because it's a Tom Ford. Joseph Lahome 3927 says, Stronger With You absolutely has worked great for me. Just don't go heavy with the sprayer. So Joseph there, alluding to what I spoke about earlier with the date night fragrance. Depending on where you're going, what you're doing, maybe you don't want it to be crazy heavy. There are times where performance should not be crazy beast mode, insanely powerful. I know, it's crazy, but there are times where softer is better. And Stronger With You absolutely fits right in that wheelhouse of what most people consider a date night fragrance. Something that's warm, sexy, sweet, and decently easy wearing. That's what most people seem to gravitate toward. And I'll say that pretty much every fragrance that you guys chose as a great date night scent kind of is in that style. I will throw out here really quickly that there are times that a fresher fragrance would be beneficial for a date night scent over something like this. If you're going somewhere in the middle of summer, really hot, even during the evening, don't go with Stronger With You. Don't go with Noir Extreme. You'd be better off in those situations going with something fresh and clean that's going to elevate what you're wearing. So just keep that in mind. While these are absolutely great for a date night, your typical what you would think of as a date night, if you're going somewhere, like I said, it's gonna be really warm or humid or something like that, keep it on the fresher side of things. An Acqua di Gio Profondo will go really far in that situation, farther than something like this. So anyway, Stronger With You, absolutely. Another one I dig. Great performance, big time performance. It has a wonderful touch of booziness to it. It's got that nuttiness that the Stronger With You line is really well known for. Nice little gourmand flair to it. It's a great scent. So absolutely, yeah, another good choice. Now this next one, chef's kiss, perfect. Les Sogs 3668 says, might sound weird, doesn't sound weird, but Philipp Plein No Limits works! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Philipp Plein. It always comes back to Philipp Plein. Yeah, look at this. So cool, so sick. Got a skull, $1 trillion, no limits. Oof. Atomizer was pretty good. But it would not be Philipp Plein if we did not talk about, and quickly so, the Philipp Plein No Limits commercial. Roll it. That's beautiful. That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. The Philipp Plein No Limits commercial is art. That's gonna be in the Art Institute of Chicago or the Louvre. It's gonna be one of those. They're gonna point back to that years in the future and be like, this is where we peaked. Society peaked at the Philipp Plein No Limits commercial. He says here, it might sound weird. Reason for that is because, well, first off, it's Philipp Plein, right? But second off, this one does have a scent profile that some people are gonna be not copacetic with. They're gonna smell it and be like, ugh, I don't know. To me, it's really wearable. It's got that Alberto Marias leather kind of accord that you can pick out in other fragrances that he's done, actually a number of fragrances that he's done. But here it has a really nice sweetness and spiciness that makes it a little more approachable, but still smells quite different compared to most things out there, other than other fragrances Alberto Marias has done. Alberto, I see what you're doing. But yeah, Philipp Plein No Limits, I like this stuff. I like it a lot. But I know that for some people, that's a no-go. Le Mont J90, Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum. This one came up a bunch also. The L'Homme Idéal line is a great line of fragrances. The Eau de Parfum and Extreme are the ones that are most often brought up, especially when you're talking fall and wintertime fragrances, when you're looking for something a little bit different, but still extremely mass appealing. This one has a really nice fruitiness to it. So it has this cherry accord in there that helps elevate it, helps give it its signature, the thing that people really cling on to when they smell it. Also has in here spices, leather, tonka, vanilla, and almond, which of course ties it in with the L'Homme Idéal line. Smells fantastic, a little easier to find from discounters nowadays, absolutely worth picking up. Then we got one from Dougie Fresh, who says, Le Male de Parfum, I've worn this for every first date since I bought it, and it always brings them back for a second date. It's the perfect blend of sweet and spices. What about a third date? Because how many dates are you going on? Have you worn this for every first date since you bought it? How many first dates is that? This is information you gotta provide. We talking 50 first dates and then you have 50 second dates? Because if so, what is going on, after the second date? Or is it just a couple and it worked out super well because of the fragrance? Don't be Dougie. But Dougie has good taste. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here. Le Male de Parfum, fantastic. And I know that there's like a slight divide, where some people are team Le Male Elixir and others are Le Male de Parfum. I love both. I think that they're both just extremely well done. The iris in here helps elevate this one, but it doesn't go full on like heavy powder. That spice, as he says, that sweetness really helps just carry this one through. It has just about everything that you would want as a fragrance collector or somebody that loves fragrances, because it smells at once classy and then decently unique while throwing back to a classic fragrance. And then it has nice wearability and versatility. The quality is there, so a great release. Next up, we got one from Saul T, 4497, who says, definitely Armani code Parfum, ideal for intimate settings as it's not the strongest fragrance. I'm not gonna keep harping on that, but we've been talking about that. This is a good choice too. This is a really nice one. Code Parfum, I believe, is such a good date night choice because this one has what we've talked about before, nice quality to it. Then it has off the top, decent freshness, actually. It doesn't open up really heavy, but as it dries down, it takes on a little more of a warmer scent profile. Again, a more alluring scent profile, magnetic scent profile. So it can kind of help you in a lot of situations. You can wear that to something that's more of a casual date and it'll work, but also to a more formal date and it'll work. And this is one that maybe like a summer evening, I talked about before, some of these are not gonna work as well if it's a little bit hot out there. Where this one has that freshness off the top, you could pull this one off. So Code Parfum, nice choice. And what really sets it apart from everything else here, you knew I was gonna do that, right? The cap. Look at this, look at this. Somebody get Insane Clown Posse on the phone. Magnets. How do they work? Zane Wood 5002 says, my go-to is Gentleman Reserve Privée, always gets compliments. Another fantastic choice, and throwing it back here. The Stronger With You, absolutely. This one has a bit of that booziness added in, which helps elevate the scent profile ever so much. This is an iris fragrance. The iris is right there in the forefront, so you do have to enjoy iris being a main part of a fragrance to enjoy. That one in the air though, lights out. As I said, gets a lot of compliments. And this line in general is very solid. So you can look across the entire Gentleman line and most likely find one that's gonna work for you. And really, I would say all of those could be a good date night fragrance. Even Gentleman Cologne, but that would be more like summertime, really hot kind of date where you want something that's a little bit different. That's not gonna work in as many situations as this one. Now, here were some other fragrances that were mentioned that I wanted to bring up really quickly. The Most Wanted from Azzaro, which I think is another one that's very, very good. Herod from Parfums de Marly, Lalique Ombre Noir, and Prada L'Homme Intense. So all of those also very good choices. The last one comes to us from Silver Fox 311, who says Parfums de Marly Layton. Attractive and playful without being overwhelming, a bit sweet, a bit fresh, a bit spicy, with an alluring vanilla note. All bases covered. I am in agreement. Yeah, Layton, you can't go wrong with this stuff. People love Layton. This is Parfums de Marly's top-selling fragrance for men. It's just so well done in terms of giving you that sweet, spicy scent profile that works so well for a date night at a very high quality that you can get sometimes at discounters for quite a nice price. And it really ticks all the boxes, as he said. Good performance without being headache-inducing, good quality, good versatility, massive compliment factor. Layton, it's about as good as you're gonna get as far as just being, what would you think a date night fragrance is? Oh, well, that does all of that. So there we go. These are your choices for the #1 date night fragrance. These are the ones that got mentioned the most often. Or in the case of Philipp Plein, I just kind of had to mention it because it's Philipp Plein. Yeah. Anytime I get a chance to show that commercial, okay? I want to thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.